Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Martin, I'm a producer and songwriter from the Netherlands. And after writing my master's thesis and successfully graduating, which explains my recent absence from the channel, I couldn't be more excited to be back with a new video. So today we're breaking down the production of this song that at the point of recording this video is getting over 6.5 million daily streams on Spotify, which is a lot. And that song is the phenomenal Unholy by Sam Smith and Kim Petras. So grab yourself a cup of tea or your favorite snack and let's get into it. Okay, so at a tempo of 131 beats per minute, let's start by dissecting the beat, which consists of the following samples that I've found on Splice. We have a kick, a clap layer to create this pre-shifted clap sound. And I'm making the clap a bit shorter and tighter using these volume automation clips. Then there's this awesome percussion sound from the Sophie Hyperpop pack. And a few other percussion sounds to make it a bit more interesting. So this is what our beat sounds like. So on top of this beat, the entire song features this really cool bass synth for which we're using Serum. So starting from scratch, let's increase the number of voices to 6 and let's reduce this D2 knob to around 0.08. Then let's turn on the filter and decrease the filter cutoff while increasing both the drive and fat knobs for extra power and drive. Let's then drag these envelope modulators to cutoff and resonance respectively and mitigate the extent to which they modulate. And let's finally adjust the filter modulation envelope to create a more plucky bass sound through the attack and sustain knobs. Like this. And then we'll have the melody go back and forth between C# and D. Interesting. Okay, so right now we have a drum beat and the bass, meaning it's time to introduce the 808. And for that I'm using my beloved Sublab, and specifically one of my favorite presets called Dark Side. We then get rid of the kick sample, enable legato, and we eliminate the 808's higher frequencies as those are already provided by the bass synth. And we also want to make sure that the sub of the 808 is not clashing with the lower frequencies of the bass synth. So we're sidechaining our 808 to the bass, where we use an instance of Pro MB by FabFilter on the bass channel. We choose the 808 as our sidechain input, we select free and external, and then create this band at around 150 Hz to ensure that all the bass synth frequencies below this crossover point become quiet whenever the 808 is playing simultaneously. So before we continue, I want to introduce you to today's sponsor, which is BeatStars. Now, BeatStars is the world's #1 digital music marketplace to buy, sell, and distribute beats, and I highly suggest you take a look at their site, as they've helped pay out over $200 million in sales to producers around the world, with many top charting songs beginning on BeatStars, such as Old Town Road by Lil Nas X. Coming with a free monthly plan for beginners, BeatStars is the right place to start, whether you're a producer who wants to sell beats, or if you're a songwriter who wants to write music without having to produce yourself. Also, if you want to take things to the next level by opening your own virtual music store, be sure to use this promo code after signing up using the link below to receive 1 free month of the Marketplace or Pro Page plan. So as we combine the bass synth, the 808 and the drum sounds, we obtain the following section that really provides the core of the song. And this core is basically repeated throughout the entire song, which builds on the concept of repetition, a common concept in pop music based on the perception that the more often we hear something, the more likely we are to remember it. And yet the production would get really boring if we just repeated the exact same section time and time again. And that is why the original producers added variations of this section throughout the song. And these variations can be subtle, like slightly altering the 808 at the end of the 4th bar. But they can also be more noticeable, like adding this bicycle bell in between. Or by creating this tape stop-like transition effect upon entering the second half of the verse. So in order to create this specific effect, I'm firstly creating a pitch bend automation clip for the bass synth to make it go bum bum. And then I'm exporting a short clip of our initial section, which I in turn pitch down 700 cents. And I'm adding some effects like heavy distortion, some filtering, stereo imaging, and reverb, after which I use the slice tool to turn our clip into this, which in combination with the other elements sounds like this. And to then complete this variation, I'm adding these glitch claps, as well as this clone of our 808, but with a lot of distortion, using the Berserk distortion plugin by Waves and the free Camel Crusher plugin. And together with the tape stop effect, these sounds lead us to the second half of the first verse, which is where we introduce some ear candy using these cool string shots from the Cashmere pack. And from there we're headed to the chorus, but before we get there, we have this awesome fill, which is made of some percussive elements like these two samples, this crazy metal percussion sound, as well as Arabic sounding strings, for which I'm using some tremolo strings from Session Strings Pro 2. And this cello by Tina Guo, who is an amazing cellist known for the incredible cello work in some of Hans Zimmer's movie scores. And together, the percussion and the strings take us as listeners from the verse to the chorus section, serving as a great transition tool. So finally, there is still some other cool stuff happening in the production of Unholy, like this vowel filter effect that we're applying to our initial bass synth when the second verse starts. And I created this by tweaking the analog talker inverse preset in this awesome filter plugin called Woe2. And simultaneously, I am automating the plugin's resonance knob and an additional filter in Pro Q3 to make the transition from vowel bass to regular bass synth more subtle and easy on the ears, as you can tell when I disable and then enable this filter. And then right before the second chorus, there is this really cool scream sample, which definitely is an element of ear candy that, in this case, creates a more haunting and intriguing vibe in line with the rest of the song, which I personally think is a really cool detail. And last but not least, I want to show you these strings that are playing in the outro of the song, for which I'm using the exact same string instruments as the ones used in the fill discussed before, but this time they're playing a more complete melody, again following the Arabic scale. And I think this is done really nicely in the original, as we basically go from these very short individual string shots in the verses to a short string melody in the fill section to this final more elaborate string melody in the outro, which in my opinion is a really cool payoff that is rewarding the listener for listening to the song until the end. And with that being said, we have reached the end of today's video. If you're a producer, then I hope this video has offered some new insights for your own productions, and I definitely recommend you to download the free project file, the stems and the MIDI files down below to learn even more. If you're not a producer, then I hope this video has provided you with a better understanding of what goes into making a chart-topping production, which hopefully makes you appreciate the songs you hear on the radio even more. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to thank BeatStars for sponsoring this video, and I'm really excited to see you next time. Bye.